The Maury's Automotive Group is here today with the Mazda CX-5 as well as the Honda CR-V. Now what I'd like to do is show you around the interiors, the exteriors, and then provide you with a driving review. That's how they do in the city as well as out in the country roads. So the mid-size SUV market has exploded in the last 5 years, so that means all these manufacturers are bringing their best competition to the market. The Honda CR-V is definitely one of the class favorites. Now the CR-V in this model is the EXL trim, and it also provides you with a 2.4-liter four-cylinder that gets you 33 miles per gallon on the highway. It also has a comfortable CVT transmission and a ton of equipment inside. So now what we've done is left the big city and gone down to the country a little bit. We wanted to show you what you could maybe expect if you head up to the cabin and have some gravel roads or just want to do a little bit of small town driving. All right, so let's take this CR-V, we'll spin around. So like I mentioned, we were gonna get out of the city a little bit here. We got a 55-mile-an-hour road, so here's some of that gravel kicking off. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the CVT, but it does work pretty well, and that's hard to argue with that. You just put your foot down and go. There's no real thinking about it. It's comfortable, it is smooth. I am kind of old school in that I like shifting, or I like the 6-speed kind of more manual or automatic transmission, but you know, it does get the job done and it does work really well, and Honda's figured out how to make it pretty reliable, so there's definitely that aspect of it. But once you're inside the car, I do like these seats a lot. Now these are heated leather seats, or my Minnesota Must package, where it's really nice to have, and they're really comfortable. The bolster's good on them, the driving position is good as well. And now if you put the left blinker on, you'll notice on the left side of the car it's easy to see, but the right side it's a little more difficult. So if I flip the right blinker, you've got this cool camera that pops on that can help you see if there's maybe pedestrians trying to cross the road, or it just helps you kind of be a little more visible to what's going on. Really cool feature, I do like that a lot. Now that being said, the kind of system is a little outdated when you're comparing it to the Mazda, but that doesn't mean that it's not really easy to use. You can push the home button, you can change the volume, you just kind of get in and go. So now here we got a little bit of gravel, so you can definitely feel the all-wheel drive system. You know, if you put your foot down, it's gonna slip just a little bit, but I mean, it just kind of bites and goes. I do like the ride and drive of the CR-V. You know, it is comfortable in here. I like the dash layout a lot. It looks really good. You get that instant MPG read, you get your trip computer in there, and then on the steering wheel you have all your controls, whether that's for your radio or your voice commands, your phone controls. Everything is so simple and easy to use in here. They didn't overcomplicate anything. There's the Econ button on the side, so you push that, you're gonna get a little better fuel economy. It kind of helps you out that way, which is always a good thing. Other things I like, this one does have the dual climate control. Again, it's kind of one of the upper tier packages that you get on the CR-V, which is pretty nice. You can sync it up, you got the fan controls here, you can each set your side, so it's you and your passenger can have your own temperature, which is really nice, because usually when I'm driving from someone, I'm hot, they're cold, either way, you can set it, you're good to go. But I mean, overall, who's looking at a CR-V? And like I always say, 95% of the time, how are you driving the car? Is it just you in the car? Are you picking the kids up from school, bringing them out to hockey or soccer practice? Do you need the space? The difference between the CR-V and the CX-5, instantly the thing I noticed is that the CR-V is lower when you're loading up the hatch. So if the kids are trying to throw a bunch of gear in the back, I mean, all in all, makes it easier to jump in the car and throw stuff in. One of those little things you don't really think about until you do it over and over. And yes, when the kids are smaller, they can still throw stuff in. It's really simple and easy to use there. But I mean, from there, the price is right. I mean, this competitive market with the CV or the mid-size SUVs is pretty competitive. So no matter what you're looking at, obviously a brand new car is going to be nice, but it kind of breaks down to the features, the style, the reliability, as well as just how it feels once you get behind the wheel. So with the CR-V, I'd definitely say get out, drive one, see what you think. So now when you're comparing mid-size SUVs, you have to include the CX-5. As one of the class favorites, it just seems to do everything right. This one does have a 6-speed automatic and is going to get exceptional fuel economy on the highway. So the CX-5 most of the time will be in front-wheel drive to help you get the best possible fuel economy, and then when you need it, the all-wheel drive will kick in. The Kodo design language up front also makes this a really good-looking, kind of sporty crossover SUV. All right, so now to the CX-5. So this one is the all-wheel drive model, and like I mentioned before, it's going to be in front-wheel drive most of the time, and you'll see that on the gravel road later. When I kind of gas it a little bit and the wheels start to slip, that's when the all-wheel drive will kick in and make sure you're getting the most traction possible. From there, the first thing you really notice between this and the CR-V is the technology. The kind of joystick function is a little goofy, but the volume knob being by itself is great. I really like that. I like the steering wheel. It's a little bit smaller almost than the CR-V as well, but you've got a ton of controls on here, cruise control and all that good stuff as well. So the CX-5 we did take today is more of the base model. We don't have a ton of equipment on this one like we do with the CR-V, so it's maybe not quite as fair, but I have driven ones that are all loaded up and you get so much equipment. It is such a nice car once you load them all the way up with the lane departure warning and the adaptive cruise control and the heated leather seats. There's so much stuff you can put into one of these that, yes, once you load them up, it's going to be really hard to distinguish between the two. Like I mentioned in the CR-V, it really breaks down to style, reliability, price, things that you have to be conscious of. But they're both really nice cars. There's just a few things that set them apart. So now as we turn onto the gravel road again here, I'll kind of give it a little gas. And you can feel right away that all-wheel drive, as soon as it starts to kick sideways, it'll kick right in and you'll be good to go again. And you're gonna have the sure-footedness that you'd expect with all-wheel drive, even though you get the fuel economy of front-wheel drive, so very cool system. The center stack here, the dash, the gauges, everything is pretty well laid out and looks pretty good as well. I mean, they don't overcomplicate things, and that's what's great about Honda and Mazda, is that you have a fuel gauge, you have your RPMs, you have your speedometer, everything is right there, easy to use, simple to find, and you're not kind of questioning looking for stuff all the time. From there, the mirrors are really nice and large on the CX-5, which is awesome. I really like that. Visibility is good. Now, this one doesn't have the blind spot monitoring, but it's certainly something you can get and something I would recommend. Anything that can help provide you with a safer drive to help you and your family be safe, certainly something to look at when you're deciding on your midsize crossover. From there, everything else, like I mentioned, the CR-V is a little bit lower in the back, but again, both do have 60-40 split rear seats, which means you can kick the seats down almost flat and haul as much stuff as you need. I mean, whether you're going up to the cabin for the weekend or bringing the kids to hockey, soccer practice, anything you need the space for, these do provide it. And if not, both manufacturers do offer a larger model as well, so you will have more space provided if you need it. So get up and go. I mean, you put your foot in and that's 55. You're moving right along. And like I said before, 95% of the time, this isn't a race car, but you can kick it down into sport mode and it's gonna hold the RPMs up. So if you do put your foot in, it's gonna give you a little more, hold a little bit longer, so you can have a little more spirited driving, you could say. I mean, this one feels like it's a little more kind of zoom Mazda with a little more fun to drive, where the CR-V feels a little more like you get the fuel economy as well, you get the kind of reliability with Honda, but Mazda's definitely made a name for themselves as well. So which one do I like better? It's hard to say. I like both, and I think it depends on what you're using the car for. This one, like I said, it's a little higher in the back, but it's a little sportier. The interior feels just a little bit nicer. So if you want kind of more of the creature comfort stuff, maybe the Mazda. If you want just a drive A to B, maybe the CR-V, or you like the look better on either one. I mean, it really breaks down to personal opinion. On behalf of the Maury's Automotive Group, thanks for watching. Now, if you'd like to schedule your test drive in either vehicle, make sure to call, click, or stop by today. Thanks again for watching, and make sure you buy happy.